All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome. It's Norbert from the MindSpark team, and it is with great pleasure today to co host this webinar episode with Katerina. How are you?
Hi, Norks. Really good. Very excited to be talking about one of my favorite tools
So glad
with
to be
you.
here with you today.
Like,
And before we start, and well, as a side note for those of you who haven't joined us for previous webinars, we at MindSpark have put together this remote research toolbox series as to expose other brands and agencies to the various platforms that can be used for conducting remote research. These webinars are usually short 10-15 minutes and free to watch on demand whenever you want. And this time we're going to talk about Figma. So without further ado, I will just hand the mic over to Kat so she can talk about her favorite tool.
yes, indeed. Thanks, Norb. So, Figma is not the first tool that comes to mind when it comes to conducting user research, and it's definitely not a research-focused tool. But I'm going to be talking about how Figma, the design tool that has taken the interface design world by storm, can be used by researchers, but also UX designers, product managers, and people from various departments within organizations, but also agencies, to plan, conduct research, and also share findings, collaborate with teams. So yeah, and we will be covering actually Figma and FigJam, which is the newest addition to the Figma family. Yeah, as I said, Figma is a tool that perhaps need no introduction, extremely popular as it suits a wide variety of projects from graphic to user interface design and mostly user experience wireframing and prototyping. It's a cloud-based tool and it's made so users can collaborate and work from pretty much anywhere in real time, collaborate together. While this tool to the untrained researcher or someone coming from not from outside of design, it might look like many other prototyping and wireframing tools out there. But the key differentiator is exactly this ability to work with teams on projects together. And yeah, Figma is a real solid tool with a free plan available, also various different plans for various sizes of your team if you want to try expanding functionalities. It's worth trying for anyone who is working in the digital space, researchers, PMs included, not just designers, mostly, and yeah, ultimately because they have introduced the most amazing online whiteboard and brainstorming ideation tool called FigJam. It's a new addition that was launched in spring 2021. It is still in beta, so it will remain free to use and to explore until next year, as far as I'm aware. So everyone's invited to take a look now. Basically, yeah, how it works for researchers. Figma, due to its democratic nature and cloud-based and web-first based platform, allows researchers to level the field and meet design colleagues wherever they are. It basically brings the entire design thinking process under one tool. So you can have the research phase incorporated, you can give timely feedback and comment on existing design creatives. You have unlimited access to both official Figma and community generated templates that can be used for design sprints, workshops, diagramming of various parts like user journeys, user stories, and mapping. And ultimately, the most relevant for UX research folks out there, there are quite a few elaborated templates for presenting research findings, which all makes design and research go hand in hand, seemingly together. And with the introduction of FigJam, the whiteboarding tool, it allows for very easily copy pasting of design assets from one tool to the other, so that designers can get quick, seamless feedback. Also invite colleagues from other departments, for other teams, to collaborate and brainstorm together. It's a very welcoming and easy for the beginner tool. So there is there's not this idea of siloing of the designer sitting in the tall design tower anymore, which I particularly like. So yeah, what are the biggest strengths for me, according to me, is that, yeah, it's flexible, it's platform agnostic, unlike many of the design and prototyping tools out there, which only live on iOS or require an Adobe subscription. Figma is agnostic. You can access it from your web browser. You don't have to download any apps if you don't want to. One of the biggest strengths, as I said, is this very rich community-generated library of design material and also UX research templates that are applicable and save time in all stages of the product development. It also allows research to be presented by non-researchers, which is definitely a common case in small companies or design teams of limited size out there, so quite relevant. Enhanced functionalities for seamless and fun cross-team collaboration. That's more a FigJam strength. Because of its collaborative nature, Figma ultimately makes presenting UX research much easier and more intuitive for designers. For those of us who have had experience working within a design team, we know how busy those folks are, and how much easier it is if you actually present your findings on the same tool that they're using, and not make everyone create just another account on another platform that they might not need. I think it's really revolutionary in the way it opens design to the wider organization. It allows people from different backgrounds to experiment with creating their design artifacts and place themselves sort of in the shoes of the designer for a bit. And yeah, it definitely has a lot to bring in terms of facilitating co-creation across teams.
Great. Actually, Katerina, that I come from a design background, so I was actually very surprised to find that you guys, researchers, are also using Figma. But now I'm learning a lot. So let's jump to the questions we've received from some of our clients interested in the tool. So why should UX researchers be comfortable using Figma?
Yes, I mentioned a couple of these things already, but I would just restate. When working with designers or alongside designers for designers from the client side, if you are based in an agency, I think being able to empathize with these colleagues, with your design teammates, and place yourself, see the work from their perspective is super important. And yeah, as a UX researcher, you definitely want to spare your team tool fatigue, a term I've just coined, at all costs.
I like it.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. If you are designing on Figma, why not use the same tool for presenting the findings and bring together designer and researcher, collaborating, organizing design sprints and workshops without leaving the same tool? Why not?
That makes perfect sense to me. So, well, you kind of sort of answered the next question already by talking about the tool, but, well, obviously Figma is non-designer friendly, but maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yes, well, yeah, a double negative here. It depends on what you're using it for. It might seem a little bit unwelcoming at first, but in comparison to other design wireframing and prototyping tools out there, I think it's very research friendly. There is also an extensive tutorial library. There are all sorts of community generated templates, FAQs, I think Figma has one of the most active design communities out there. Maybe because
Yes.
it's free, maybe because it's out there, web-based for everyone. So the pool of knowledge that you could be accessing is huge, and you can always rely on the community for tips and help. Yeah, which also creates a really nice engagement and community feel to it. You can connect with other researchers working in it. You can learn from designers. It's great for knowledge exchange between the two disciplines, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And so what specific tools or functionalities does or do Figma and FigJam have that are relevant for user experience research for us, for everyone watching this webinar?
Yeah, so in Figma proper, I think it's really cool that research can review creatives at various stages of the product development. It's very easy to leave seamless comments, tag specific parts of screen, of creatives, of prototypes, anything that requires immediate attention from various team members. We can just tag it, oh, this is ready for usability test, this needs the attention of a UX copywriter. So all of this embedded, I think it speeds up communication. And yeah, it basically allows anyone to access the tool and leave feedback for the designer in charge. So this person no longer has to proactively send emails or invite people to documents. It's all there when they have access, when there's access for various team members. And FigJam, the whiteboarding tool, I think it by itself is a fantastic tool for researchers to do one of the things we have to do the most, and namely to bring our teams together, workshop, brainstorm, and also engage, create engaging research presentations. The time of boring PowerPoints with charts and bars and pie charts, yes, my favorite, is so gone, I hope. So yeah, there are so many other engaging ways that researchers could be incorporating in their practice, and FigJam definitely offers quite a bit of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. We have two more questions here. Do these tools offer integrations with other UX research tools?
Figma, the main tool, definitely. It has an open API, which means that many third-party providers can potentially and do already offer integrations. Some of the most relevant ones are with Jira, for instance. So if you are a UXer who also dabs into product management, this integration allows you to add design files and prototypes straight into issues or epics in your Scrum board or Kanban board. Maze is another fantastic tool that's integrated into Figma, and it actually allows you to test Figma created prototypes with real users. So it's a recruitment and testing and user testing tool that's available for you already. Notion is another one that's very useful for building research repositories and evangelizing research findings across the team using design creatives straight from Figma. And I'm sure there will be plenty more. I think Figma has to gain a lot of popularity within the research universe, and we'll do that in the near future. So I'm expected to see a lot more of tool integration.
So I know this is going to be a very hard question, but what's your one favorite thing about Figma?
I'm very excited about this one. Yes, I mean, the absolute number one thing that I think the tool does effortlessly is that it democratizes design. It's very open and inviting for beginners, both for UX design beginners and also people who are coming from different backgrounds but are working with UX designers. largely thanks to its browser first or web first strategy. So there are no apps that you absolutely need to use, and access is largely free, depending, of course, on the size of your team. But yeah, for introduction into UX design, I think it's very, very affordable, very democratic. And I also love the community engagement that I mentioned, this variety of templates that people working across client side and agency side organizations are constantly developing and offering, the feedback loop that you can have with other Figma users. Yeah, so you can have a wide variety of both design and research focus templates and creatives. And one last favorite thing, I guess I have more than one, is actually FigJam. I think the fact that they've introduced this whiteboarding brainstorming tool, it's so wise and such a great entryway into the tool for non-designers. It makes, yeah, you don't need anything specific to create an account. You can just sign up with your email. You can brainstorm, you can workshop, you can experiment with the different design thinking methodologies, because there are templates already preset there, but you can also create your own if you feel like it. So yeah, it's just very inviting. It's very easy to use for people who don't necessarily come from a design background.
Well, thank you. I think that was it for today. Thanks, Kat, for telling us all about Figma and FigJam. And thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, Norbs. It was a pleasure. See you next time.
See you next time.